Hello, I'm Belinda Johnson, Managing Director of Mindfull. Here with me today is Issy from IBM. Hello, Issy.
Hi, Belinda. I'm totally delighted to be here to have this conversation with you.
Fantastic. Now let's move on and talk around AI and how we can delight our customers. So the conversation around AI is usually very based on technology, but is there a people component towards AI that we should be thinking about?
Absolutely. When you think of a really good AI system, there's four key pillars. A good AI system should be able to understand, reason, learn. But for me, most importantly, a really great AI system should be able to interact with humans the same way we do. And so an ability for an AI system to form an empathetic relationship with a human to achieve an actionable outcome, I think is extremely important.
Fantastic. So could you use AI around the experience that a customer is having, and how would you use these to delight a customer?
Yeah. So if you were to think about your interactions with organizations, I think we've all can think of a number of examples where we've had terrible customer experiences. But we can also think of these extremely delightful experiences that we've had with a brand or an organization. And that results in this massive amount of loyalty, a massive amount of stickiness, and what we at IBM called building your tribe. And we really think that artificial intelligence is a great way to build your customer tribe. So if you were to consider about some of the things you want from a really good customer experience, you want timely access to information. You want that organization or that brand to be able to be there for you whenever you want them to be. So whether we're, on the way between meetings, we could be sitting at an airport lounge, or it could be in the middle of the night at home. We want access to that brand 24/7. We also want access to accurate, high quality information. So not only do we want fast access to information that the brand can provide, but we want that information to be accurate every single time. And so AI allows organizations to build systems, to build relationships that provide that for clients.
We talk a lot in Mindfull around the customer journey.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think? Does AI fit into that customer journey?
Absolutely. So if you were to look at a customer journey and their interaction with an organization or with a brand, you'll see that AI can complement point interactions, but also can sort of guide your customer throughout a process. So it could be the experience of finding the right jacket for you to wear, but it also could be the experience of finding the right financial product to make an improvement in your quality of life. And so imagine a scenario where you had 24/7 access to a banker. So most banks and most financial corporations provide wealth advice to the top 1 or 2%, to their high network individuals. Imagine if the banks could scale their wealth bankers, could scale out that expertise and bring it to everybody. And so now everyday folks will have access to their own personalized wealth banker that will give them these hyper-personalized financial advice that we can tap to 24/7. So imagine the case where we're looking at finding the perfect loan or the perfect financial product. We can have these conversations around discovery of what it is they want. I can have an empathetic conversation with an AI system around where I am at the stage of my life. Are we having a baby? Are we having a life moment? Are we getting married? Are we buying a house, etc.? And these are things that can be fed back to make really good and accurate recommendations. I can then, after that discovery process, I can look at how it is I can go about embarking or purchasing that product. And that AI system can guide me along that purchase journey. And what's really interesting is an AI system really augments experts. And if you would think about it, an AI system really allows an organization to scale out their best expertise, their best experts. And so at any point during this customer journey, I'm able to have an interaction with an AI system, but also be handed off to a human for more perhaps long tail type questions.
For me personally, I love the fact that I don't need to rush and pick up the phone because it's 4:30 and the bank's going to close. I love the fact that I can interact with my bank after hours, 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night when it suits me. And that's really great for me to think I can work with with my suppliers when it suits me. How do you think people feel about this? I know in the early days, people were quite apprehensive. Oh, I don't want to talk to a machine. But I think the people have changed their view around it. What do you think people are feeling, and what are the concerns and issues and delights when they're talking to AI after hours?
Yeah, and that's a really fun topic to consider. I believe if I have access to high quality information when I want it, that's accurate, then it shouldn't really matter to me how I get that information. On the flip side, for an organization, there is a strong ethical responsibility to let their customers and consumers know who they're having the conversation with. Are they having this conversation with an AI system, or are they having this conversation with a human being? And I think if organizations can solve for that and have transparency in how they engage with their customers, I think guiding them along this journey to an outcome is going to be successful.
It's really great and exciting how we can use AI to engage with our customers better. Have you got any local examples where customers used AI to just have a better engagement with their customers?
Yeah, so there are a number of customers that come to mind. Here's one that I find really, really interesting. Not so long ago, we held a workshop of sorts. We called it a Cognitive Fest to help people get comfortable and understand how to use AI technologies. And what was really interesting was a group of folks came together during that session and looked at something that they were so passionate about. And that was the preservation and the education of Te Reo Maori. And so they looked at how can we use artificial intelligence to get people excited to learn Maori, but also to spread that out. And so they used some of the intelligence blocks, conversation systems, to design an environment where you could go on, learn about Maori, but also practice your Te Reo skills online, and it was available to you 24/7. Things like that have that little bit of Kiwi ingenuity, that little bit of spark to create something so profoundly different, but also exciting, is really what AI can do for organizations to really shift the conversation in how they interact with their customers to create their own tribe.
I love it. That's great, because I always feel so embarrassed when I'm trying to practice my Te Reo that everyone always laughs at me. So I would love that, to have
Absolutely.
a chatbot that I can talk to who won't laugh at me, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the areas I'm really excited about is these digital humans, these personal assistants that are coming. I really need one to help me manage my life, running late for meetings, scheduling meetings, all that. So I'm very excited about that. I'm just interested in your thoughts around using AI to create this hyper-personalized experience. What are your thoughts on that?
So if you look at the use of AI for individuals, it's really about helping you offload that cognitive toil. So by cognitive toil, I mean things or decisions that you need to make that aren't really high value. So for me personally, and for many IBMers, we use IBM Watson internally. So being able to find out when my next meeting is and who's going to be there. Also things like, how do I log a certain expense that, conforms to ethical standards? Things like, how is a team doing? And being able to ask questions around how's sales performance? How are the team KPIs coming along? And I couldn't imagine a day where I don't have continuous interaction with an artificial intelligence. And it's usually not just the one artificial intelligence. I have many different systems that help me make these decisions. And I think this hyper-personalized service is really going to be the way of the future. So imagine an organization being able to simply ask questions of their data. What are my highest selling products? And you get a view. It could be a text response, but it could be a beautiful graph of what your highest selling products are over a period of time. You could then compound that question with, is this the same highest selling products this time last year? So now instead of having to offload this work to someone who works in BI or is a data scientist, you're able to simply have a conversation about the health of your business.
That's very exciting.